What's going on, guys? Back for another quick trade recap today. Today was a great day. And it wasn't a great day till almost market close, right? So I took a trade at 3 o'clock, 350 to be exact, the 350 macro, which the 350 macro is known. Like, people know that the 350 macro does have decent momentum, decent movement most days, right? So I was looking for a trade there. I have a couple trades earlier in the day. I took a loss right here. I took a win right here, and so on the day I was down about $40, so break even, right? Break even day until right here. So what did I do? I took a long right here after a 5-minute CISD. Took a long, got out for about $600 profit. Then I took a small loss because I got in early, but I knew I wanted to short, but I took a small loss here for about $300, I think. Yeah, $300. So then on the day I was up $300. And then I took this trade at exactly 350. So I'm going to get rid of these executions real quick. Um, so here is the actual trade that I made most of the money on. So I was up $300 on the day, so I could only make 1200, right? So you can see right here, account summary, up 1458 in the day because your max win is 1500. As you can see, the account is in about $400 almost profit. So we were real close to blowing the account, and obviously we ended up making it all back. So now we are nowhere close to blowing the account. We haven't $2,000 drawdown again. But I guess by the looks of it, 1,400 on the day. So we were about $600 away from blowing it or something like that. So about $600 away from blowing it, and we ended up making everything back. That's huge, because I was going to purchase a set of evals later this week. But now I'll probably only purchase one so I can copy trade these two. But so let's get into the trade real quick. So what am I looking for when it comes to the 350 macro? I'm looking for some type of manipulation into a PD array. I'm looking for SMT and basically a turtle soup entry. So we have a fair value gap right here, 15-minute fair value gap. We have 15-minute SMT. You can see 330 right here, 345, 330 right here, 345. So we have 15-minute SMT off the last previous 15-minute candle. Oops. Like that. I'm actually going to change this real quick. So this was like an A plus setup, right? In terms of turtle soup, to like get a nice entry. So then what are you looking for? You're basically just looking for that turtle soup. So you can see right here we come up and sweep these highs, and on ES we do not sweep these highs. Right here we come up real close and we don't get it. So the turtle soup holds, and we get in and we take it 235 ticks because I didn't want to go over the maximum win. That's why we only got 1458. Close enough, right? Like, I'm not trying to break that rule and have to make more money. That would just be stupid of me. But what the heck? Okay, that was basically the trade. I mean, there's not much to it, right? Turtle soup is just sweeping a high prior to moving down, so it's like a quick liquidity sweep. And we were inside a 15-minute PD array with 15-minute SMT, and we had untapped gaps down here. So that was my draw on liquidity, was the fact that we had untapped gaps. We have untapped 5-minute, not a 15-minute, but so the 5-minute was more or less my target. I didn't even need to hit the 5-minute, right? But it worked out. And as you can see on ES, we actually inversed this 5-minute, so that made me pretty comfortable. Right here, this first one, we didn't inverse it on NQ, but we inversed it on ES. So with that being said, I was like, okay, we're still getting bearish momentum. And then you can see on the 1-minute, I believe, 1-minute, you can see we were respecting this 1-minute, and we were just getting crazy top wicks prior to just dumping off. So it was a pretty great trade, great way to end my day. I was just picking my brother up from school, and I was like, you know what? Let me try the 350 macro. I've heard it been on some things, you know what I'm saying? It be hitting. So let me try it out. And sure enough, smacked. Was in drawdown for a minute, but my emotions didn't get the best of me, and What sucked before was the trade where I closed for $600 profit, right? It was a trade for 1200 as well. Yeah, like 1300, and it would have been my daily max win, right? But what happened? This was my target. 15-minute untapped fair value gap was my target. We came up, didn't tap it, created SMT with ES, so I closed early for $600. Obviously, I could have been done if it just hit my target. And if I didn't close early, technically I would have hit full target too. But I was like, nah, because I was like sketchy on the day. I was like, come on, like I was down $40 on the day, so I was like, okay, I can take this, be up $500 on the day, and I'm good. That means I can come back tomorrow and I have $1,500 in drawdown to play with. Why not just do that? So I was like, yeah, screw it. And it was kind of sketchy because as soon as we created that SMT, like you can see, we created SMT on this 340 candle, 341, and we dumped. So I was like, oh my God, man. I was like, no way. We literally had a candle go down almost 100 ticks, and emotionally, just because of the fact that I knew I was down on the day and that I could close right now for hundreds of dollars worth of profit, I was like, no, let me get out. Like, screw that. I'm not playing that game. And then that hit, so then I took this because I was technically bearish in a sense, because while we do have some liquidity up here, I'd like swept, we are obviously pretty bearish in like a bearish trend. So I'm not going to trade against the trend. And we have untapped gaps that we haven't pulled back to, so I could see that being a target. So yeah, took it with one mini. Pretty simple trade. Turtle soup inside a PD array, SMT, enter off that, and sometimes you get like a top tick off that, because if it respects that SMT, if it does not go back up and retest and or invalidate that SMT, that means you are at the top of the move, and that means that you potentially could top and bottom tick depending on where your TP is, right? So that's why it's a great entry, because you can have your stop loss so tight, because you know to get out if the SMT is invalidated. Because if the SMT is invalidated, you shouldn't take the trade. But if you keep that SMT, you know you're chilling. It's a protected high, and you have a better probability of hitting TP. So with that being said, guys, that's really it for the video. Pretty quick one, just because it was more or less, while it did look like I took multiple trades, break even. One was break even, one was like a small loss, and then one was a win that made up for the loss. So it was like basically a bunch of break even trades until this one and the long prior. And honestly, you could have gotten a better long down here. I took a 5-minute CISD just because I was late, but you could have gotten in with a 1-minute CISD, and that would have hammered TP. 15-minute gap right here, boom. Like I couldn't even made that because I can only make 1,500 a day. But if I took this targeting that gap, it would have smashed. It's 400 ticks, right? If I went in with 1 mini on a live XFA, let's say, that's 2 bands. But obviously I can't do that because I'm on this account. So how much can I make? Is it 275? No. Oh, it's 300, right? Yeah. I can only make 300 a day, which means I would have been out. Right around here. So that'd have been a pretty simple trade. So yeah, like trades work, man. You just gotta wait and be patient. I know PA's been pretty mid lately. Even today was not the greatest, right? Like all morning from like, I mean, we got a nice expansion at like 10 or like pushing 11, right? But from 9:30 open to 10:40 we chopped, and then we had an expansion move, and then from 11:15 to 12:45 we chopped, and then we had this crazy dump, and then we chopped around for a while, dumped, and then we got this nice manipulation like up, which we could short off of. That was probably the cleanest play of the day. You guys might have found something else. If you did, if you took a trade today and you won, if you took a trade and you lost, make sure to drop it in the comments. Let me know what you took, because I love seeing it from other people's perspectives. It definitely is an eye-opener and can even help others learn, because if their strategy is not working in this market condition, maybe yours is. Maybe they see yours and they're like, you know what, I've heard of this before. Let me try it out. Boom, maybe they start hammering trades left and right. You know what I'm saying? So make sure to leave a comment if you got to the end of the video. With that being said, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.